Hey guys, this is Taju22. I apologize for not uploading a video. I intended to do it yesterday, but my computer was acting very weird. But today it's actually back to normal, so I'm happy about that. But without any further ado, let's get right to it. This is the Summerslam Super Show, not to be confused with Summerslam 2011 that's coming up on August 14th. So yeah, don't get that confused. This is just my show. Well, but it can be your show too. Just enjoy it. But anyways, we have 8 matches on the card. Basically what a card is, it's the lineup of matches, okay? Just so you know. Well, that is for all you non-wrestling fans out there that watch my show. So I appreciate that. But anyways, we have 8 matches on the card. We actually had one untelevised match that has already taken place. It took place as the well, basically it took place at the same venue, but it was before setup was made and everything. So yeah, we're getting everything set up for that show. But before anything was done, the match between Evan Bourne and Shawn Michaels for the WWE title, in which Evan Bourne is the champion going in. The winner of that match, and still WWE champion, is Evan Bourne, so Evan Bourne is still the champion. Well, with that being said, let's start with the first match, which is the first of 5 matches for championships. First off, we have the Unified Tag Team Championships of the World, held by held for the 6th time by 6-time champions, the Mario Brothers, Mario and Luigi. Yeah, they have set the record for most reigns as champion, as Unified Tag Team Champions. And they're going to go up against the Assassins this time, and of course, let me just give you a little brief rundown. The Mario Brothers' problems with the Assassins goes all the way back to its early days, during its formation days. Back when Jacob and Joseph were once together, and they were a part of the first incarnation. Sorry if I went too fast. Of the Assassins. But then, several personnel changes later, we have Justin Bieber and Ash Ketchum as a part of the Assassins, taking on the Mario Brothers. Now, Ash Ketchum and Justin Bieber are no strangers to one another. They've actually teamed up with each other once, and they've actually beaten the Mario Brothers, and that was back in Season 1, at the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view, or Super Show, I should say, in which they beat the Mario Brothers in a ladder match to win the titles from the Mario Brothers. And then the Mario Brothers, at the next Super Show, at the Royal Rumble Super Show, defeated Ash Ketchum and Justin Bieber for them to win what was at the time their 5th championship overall. So, notwithstanding that, these teams are going to go at it once again, and the match between these two teams in particular, the Mario Brothers, Bieber and Ash Ketchum, this will be the rubber match, as it is tied 1-1. So, who's going to win? I don't know. We'll find out at SummerSlam. Okay, match number 2 is for the United States Heavyweight Championship, held by Link. And Link is going to have himself a really tough time in this match, because it's not so much he's, taking on tough opponents. He's not taking on a tough opponent or opponents. He's taking on 3 of them. So, he has to defend that title against Joseph again. The Miz, who actually won the match to face Link one-on-one for the title. But And then finally, Cat Stevens. Let me tell you. Let me just give you what happened what happened as far as the booking of this match. I have, being the producer of Taju 22 Productions, as well as working with the board of directors. The board of directors made the initial match that they made was a triple threat match between Link, Joseph, and The Miz. But then I decided to add to that Cat Stevens because, knowing Stevens, he probably might cost The Miz the match. It took a while, but I was able to convince the board of directors to make it a fatal 4-way match. So with that being said, there are two rivalries within this. First of all, we have Link and Joseph. Joseph lost to Link in a matter of 11 minutes, and Joseph has not forgotten that, so he wants revenge and the title. The second rivalry within this is The Miz and Cat Stevens. It all started when Cat Stevens just came off a loss by Justin Bieber, and it was to join Dark Force at the time. But after the match, Cat Stevens was attacked by The Miz, who attacked him with a lead pipe from behind when the match was over. My good friend Doug VM noticed this, and he says, well, why don't you just put them in a feud? And I figured, well, that's a great idea. And they've feuded ever since. And other incidents between these two includes Cat Stevens taking on Tyson Kidd for the $1 Million Championship. And despite The Miz's interference, Cat Stevens managed to win the $1 Million title, adding what was at the time, or rather it stands as his second championship he's ever won. But then what happened, and then another incident was actually within a match. There was a 6-man battle royal for both Stevens' $1 Million Championship and the Big Show's WWE Championship. When it was all said and done, Stevens lost his championship to John Morrison as Morrison finished second, and Evan Bourne became the WWE Champion, and that's how he became WWE Champion. But within that match, Cat Stevens eliminated The Miz, so that kind of adds a little bit more fuel to the fire. As for who will win, I would have to think Link, because he's the strongest of all the competitors, but Joseph might just give him a run for his money. I don't know. It's a toss-up between Link and Joseph. That is, unless The Miz and Cat Stevens can work together to eliminate the aforementioned two men, the men I just mentioned. And if it comes down to The Miz and Cat Stevens, it's a toss-up between those two. But anyways, moving on. Yeah. Okay. For the match number 3 is for the Women's United States Championship. It is between Becca, the United States Women's Champion, or the Women's United States Champion. Okay, sorry. Against her arch nemesis, Melina. It all started 2 super shows ago. In the lead up to that one, which was known as the Bash, Melina and her best friend Rebecca Black, not to be confused with Becca, attacked Becca in the locker room to give Melina the physical edge going into that match at the Bash. Despite all that, Becca got herself some backup in Maria and managed to defend that title against Melina. And of course, nothing much has happened between those two since, but Melina just recently won a number 1 contenders match, so the feud is back on. Only this time, I've been told it's going to be taking place inside a cage, so there's no escape, and there's no way out, and there's definitely no way in, as far as that's concerned. Okay, match number 4 is for the Intercontinental Championship. And from what I understand, it's going to be a last man standing match, and it will take place inside the Elimination Chamber. It is between the champion, Bob Barker, and Kane. And of all the champions who have held their belts, Bob Barker has been the most consistent in terms of defending the title and holding on to it the longest. Bob Barker took on Kane in the finals of a tournament to crown the Intercontinental Championship. The final took place inside a steel cage, and at times Kane looked as if he was going to win, but Bob Barker escaped the cage, being that to win that match it was by pinfall submission or by escaping the cage, and Bob Barker escaped the cage. So Kane had many opportunities to put away Bob Barker, but he couldn't. So, needless to say, Bob Barker has been champion ever since, and Kane has been fuming ever since. But since winning a number 1 contenders match, Kane will have his chance at revenge in a last man standing match inside the Elimination Chamber. So Bob Barker better be prepared for this. Alright, match number 5 is between The Big Show and Bulldozer. It all started when Bulldozer had a match with The Miz. At the time, Big Show and Bulldozer were tag team partners. But The Big Show came out and attacked the Bulldozer, which of course allowed The Miz to win, but Bulldozer, after the match, swore revenge. He took on The Big Show at the Night of Champions for his title, that is, The Big Show's title. And The Big Show defeated him in a matter of 4 minutes. But of course Bulldozer wasn't going to go down that easily. And he requested this match, did the Bulldozer, and Big Show accepted inside Hell in a Cell. And that's going to be the match that we're going to have. And of course it's a grudge match. I almost forgot to put that there. Match number 6 is another grudge match, and it's between the alliance of Jacob, the Macho Man Randy Savage, and Slim Kirby against the 3 members of Dark Force: Darth Vader, the Prophet, and Joseph. So Joseph will have competed in 2 matches. And it will take place inside the Elimination Chamber. It's going to be a 3-on-3 elimination match in which a team will have to be completely eliminated to give the other team the victory. So it's going to be brutal, but that's what both sides signed on for. Okay, match number 7, another grudge match. It is between John Cena, The Rock, and CM Punk. Now, this was a match that I made. Okay, I made the match, and the board of directors agreed with me completely, unanimously. And of course, I made the match based on the real life events going on in WWE, as well as on YouTube and Twitter. Yeah, YouTube and Twitter. And needless to say, it started with John Cena and The Rock first. The Rock came back prior to WrestleMania 27, which happened not too long ago. And he had some things to say, and one of the things he said was, he mentioned how John Cena said some bad things about The Rock when, you know, The Rock was an actor, and The Rock was just pissed about it. And of course, they kind of went back and forth as far as insulting one another. Cena and The Rock. And then at WrestleMania 27, John Cena had a match with The Miz for the WWE title. Now, this is real life, folks. Just remember that. And The Miz was the champion, while Cena was the challenger. And it ended, and the match initially ended with a double countout. But The Rock didn't let, and of course The Rock was given the honor of being the host of the show. Now The Rock restarts the match, only this time it's no disqualifications, no countouts, so the match had to have a winner. And the referee was taken down, like he was knocked down, and The Rock came in, and he gave John Cena the rock bottom. And of course, The Miz took advantage of that and pinned Cena to retain his championship at the time. And of course, Cena was upset about it, so he challenged The Rock at WrestleMania 28, which is coming up in March or April of 2012. But yeah, Cena and The Rock have no love lost for one another. As for CM Punk, his involvement came when he when he just made that promo. He cut that promo. Now, for all you wrestling fans, you know what I'm talking about. But for all you non-wrestling fans out there, what Punk was doing was he cut an interview where he took the microphone and he just spoke by himself. And he talked about the way that WWE was run. He criticized the WWE, and most specifically Vince McMahon, for not promoting CM Punk enough. So it just goes without saying, Punk was critical of the fact that he was being underutilized to his full potential, so to speak. Needless to say, after that, he would go on to insult the McMahon family, including stating, as far as Vince McMahon was concerned, he felt that this company would be better once Vince McMahon was dead. But he also went on record to say that it's good, but if that happens, it's going to be ran by his idiotic daughter Stephanie and his doofus son-in-law Triple H. But the interview was well received by the fans and the critics alike. Oh yeah, and he also made a few cheap shots to Cena and The Rock, which is why I put him in this match. And CM Punk would further go on to insult Cena and The Rock many times, and then at last month's Money in the Bank match, or actually it just was held earlier this month. It depends on when you're watching this. But in July 17th, okay, that's it. CM Punk took on John Cena for the WWE Championship after Punk won a number one contenders match. And Punk said that on the last day of his contract, which was the night of that, he would leave the WWE with that championship and defend it somewhere like Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling or something like that. Which of course didn't sit well with Vince McMahon and Cena was, and of course Cena was angry with the comments that CM Punk made. And of course The Rock was upset as well. So that's how this whole thing came together between Cena, The Rock, and Punk. Alright, finally, last but definitely not least, is the 8th match, and it's going to be for the World Heavyweight Championship. It will be between Edward Kill, the champion, and Adam Sandler. Initially, it was supposed to be like that, but what happened was Sandler, prior to winning as well as losing the world title to, after winning the championship at Night of Champions, Night of Champions, and then losing it to Edward Kill. Prior to that, he had some problems. He had some unfinished business with Yoshitatsu and Mario. What happened between those three in particular, save for Kill, what happened between Sandler, Tatsu, and Mario was that Mario and Sandler were having a match, and Yoshitatsu interfered in that match, attacking both men. And of course those three men in particular had nothing but bad things to say about one another. I'm not going to go through all that. But of course Mario and Tatsu have unfinished business with Sandler as well as with each other. So needless to say, I made it into a fatal 4-way match. So Kill not only has 3 opponents to worry about, Sandler has 3 opponents to worry about as well. So it's going to be for the world title. And it's going to take place inside the Elimination Chamber. So the last man standing will win. No question about it. The one match that should have been on the card but wasn't, and unfortunately I was voted down, so I'm not going to always win, was the women's world title. It was supposed to be defended, but it wasn't. But it just wasn't to be. Needless to say, we're going to have ourselves a tournament to crown a new women's world championship. So every woman, every woman in the game, except for the women's United States champion, whoever she is, by the end of the night, will be in this tournament. And the winner of the tournament will become the women's champion. So Gail Kim, so her chances of winning that tournament are about a snowball's chance in hell, but hey, Kane was the closest to doing it, so anything can happen, folks. Anything can happen. But in the meantime, that's all I got to say about that. And I do want to give a shout out to one of my newest friends, MG Blue 90. He's doing, well, he calls it a walkthrough, but really he's doing a let's play of Castle Crashers for the PlayStation 3. It's also available on Xbox 360. But I do want to give him a shout out because he's doing a really good job, and considering how how young he is, he's like 11 years old. Considering how young he is, he's actually doing a great job, and he just has to work on his commentary a little bit more. But for what it's worth, he's actually doing a pretty good job. So I just wanted to give him a shout out, and also give another good friend of mine, Digino, a shout out, as he's going to be doing some more Let's Plays, which is going to be coming up on the way. Yeah, it's just that his computer, as well as things in his life, sometimes you're going to be busy with real life events, so he hasn't been able to upload stuff. But when he gets a chance to, do look out for that. But anyways, this is Taju22 signing off, saying goodbye. Have a nice day. And it will be coming tomorrow, so I'm going to give you guys a 1-day period to relax and try to digest everything I've just said. So have a nice day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the SummerSlam Super Show. All right, bye folks.